Brace yourself. This is the story of the footprints that haunted my life for over 7 years. I've told everyone I could, but it still feels like no one truly understands. It all started back in the early 2010s. I can't remember the exact year. Maybe 2012 or 2013. I was in my mid-20s, living with my girlfriend, now my fiancée, in a house that had been in my family for generations. It was an old brick house, the kind that stands out in a neighborhood of wooden homes. The bricks gave away its age, even after a few renovations. We lived on the edge of a vast, dense forest, the last lot on our street, so our backyard bordered the woods on 2 sides. Growing up, my brothers and I would explore it endlessly, but we never charted even a fraction of it. I loved the isolation. I liked being on my own little corner of the earth, and I felt safe. But that sense of safety was about to be shattered. One Sunday morning in winter, I had the rare chance to sleep in. As I got into my truck to head out for coffee, I noticed something strange. There was a trail of footprints in the snow right next to my vehicle. At first, I thought maybe my girlfriend had gone out before me. But the trail led from the woods, crossed our yard, passed through a hole in our side fence, and ended at my truck, then turned around and went straight back into the forest. It didn't make sense. Whoever made them hadn't come near the house, except for the truck. Later that day, I asked my girlfriend. She wasn't responsible. My dad, when I called him, had never experienced anything like it either. I thought about calling the police, but without evidence of a crime, I knew it would be pointless. I didn't know then that this was only the beginning. A couple of winters later, it happened again. It was 2015, the year the Seahawks lost the Super Bowl to Tom Brady. I stepped outside one morning and froze. Footprints were everywhere, all around the driveway, near windows, around the perimeter of the house. My mind raced. I checked every corner, ran around the yard, but there was no one. I texted my girlfriend to stay calm, but she soon discovered the worst detail. The footprints weren't made with shoes. They were bare feet, in freezing temperatures, and they looked human. We called my dad again. He told me to grab my rifle and check the woods. My fiancée wanted to call the police, but I knew they couldn't do much. I told her I'd only call if we found something. I followed the trail for about 30 minutes. Then I noticed it split into 2 directions. My heart pounded. Was it more than one person? Or just a clever trick? The forest felt endless, swallowing me whole. Darkness was approaching, so I decided to turn back, haunted by the thought that someone, or something, was out there watching. The prints disappeared under fresh snow. And for years, nothing happened. Life moved on. We got engaged, we forgot. Almost. Then, less than a year ago, in January it returned. I woke to footprints across my yard. Some led to the shed, and when I checked, tools were missing. Panic surged. I called my friend Theo, an experienced hunter and wilderness expert, and asked for his help. We dressed for the cold, armed ourselves, and headed into the woods. Theo had a thermal scope, giving us a slight advantage. As we walked, silence fell. The seriousness of our situation sank in. The trail split repeatedly. Some paths ended abruptly, forcing us to retrace our steps. Whoever made these prints clearly didn't want to be followed. The footprints were so precise, so deliberate, it was unnerving. At one point, Theo whispered that there might be 2 people, not one. As darkness fell, we were deep in the forest. Theo motioned me to stop. He peered through the thermal scope, completely still. I followed his gaze. 4 figures, naked, huddled in the snow. At first, I thought they were bears, but no, they were human. 2 large, hunched figures, and 2 smaller ones clinging to a tree, jerking their heads wildly. They were eating something, but I couldn't make out what. Then the larger ones lifted the smaller ones onto their shoulders and walked deeper into the woods. I sat under the tree for what felt like an hour, frozen. Not a sound. Not a movement. I couldn't breathe. Every second stretched like a lifetime. My mind screamed to run, to call for help, but my body refused. The cold snow bit at my hands through my gloves, yet I didn't notice. When we finally returned to the house hours later, my fiancée was still awake, terrified. I told her in as few words as possible what we had seen. That night we called the police. They searched the woods but gave up after a few hours. The prints had been partially covered by new snow, and they had no way of tracking what we saw. Theo and I knew. We knew exactly what we saw. Since then, every winter, every snowfall, the fear returns. The woods feel alive, as if watching, waiting. We've considered moving, but nothing has happened yet. I can't explain why this is happening, or why our house is targeted. My neighbors have never experienced anything like it. Some people think these intruders are harmless. Others warn we are in grave danger. I don't know what to think anymore. All I know is that the footprints keep coming. The woods are never empty. And sometimes, late at night, I swear I hear footsteps crunching in the snow outside my window. Just beyond the edge of the clearing where the forest begins, I stay awake, listening, holding my rifle, praying that whatever it is, whatever they are, stays out of reach. And every time the wind whispers through the trees, I remember those naked figures huddled in the snow, carrying something I cannot name, moving silently deeper into the forest, leaving no trace but footprints that vanish with the next snowfall.